World's predictions. Starting off with the wild card, there's 16 teams. These are the 16 teams. They've actually drafted their round 1 match. The top seed V1 picked Orlando Pirates, and then second seed was Renegades. They picked Bravado, and so on and so on. Not going to mess around here. I'm going 3-0 for version 1 over Orlando Pirates. I am expecting SSA. This is the SSA teams, Orlando Pirates and Bravado Gaming. Orlando Pirates are the number 1 team for the entire season, Bravado number 2. But recently Bravado have been outperforming Orlando Pirates. That's why V1 picked Orlando Pirates. They did their homework and they picked the team who have been second best as of late, even though they're number 1 for the entire season. So smart pick there by V1. I think they're going to 3-0. V1 usually come out hot at the start of these events. They were brilliant in group stage in the Winter Major. They were fantastic on day 1 of the London Major. So I think they're going to smash this 3-0. Marky62, thanks for the 9-month tier 1. Welcome back. And also Akubo, thanks for the 2 months. He says so excited for Worlds. Try not to spoil too much in these already completely correct predictions. Yeah, I'll try not to give away too much of the script, but we will continue. Okay, Renegades, they chose the other SSA team, Bravado Gaming. That was an interesting one. I wasn't sure if Renegades would pick Bravado or Gaming Gladiators or not the club, or actually no, they can't pick Verdi. Verdi were seated on the left side. But I wasn't sure which one of these teams is going to get chosen, but it looks like Renegades have decided, Gaming Gladiators, they look like they're improving at a rapid rate. We're going to go with a team that's not got any LAN experience internationally. They've picked Bravado. I think Bravado's going to get a game, though. I'm going to give Bravado Gaming 1 game. All for Renegades. But yeah, Renegades should be taking that one. Now, Dignitas. They've been struggling recently. But they are, already boot camping in America in preparation for wildcard. They were, I think, one of the first teams to get out there. So I think they're going to be coming in to start off the Swiss very, very strong. They're against Gaming Gladiators. Massive mechanical advantage there for Dignitas. We saw Dignitas versus Verdi in the fall split. They destroyed them. I think these teams, the APAC and SSA teams, are SSA is Sub-Saharan Africa, by the way. I think the APAC and SSA teams, they have a shot at getting games off some teams. I think they've got a shot of getting games off teams like the OCE teams, Semper, Team Secret, but not many teams. I think most teams are going to just be too mechanical, and that's why I think Dignitas will 3-0 Gaming Gladiators. Funky Monkey, thanks for the 7-month prime. Welcome back to the channel. Now, Space Station Gaming have chosen the club, and I think that really shows how much respect Space Station Gaming have for the Middle East teams. They did not choose the Middle East teams, but in fact their reasoning for this was very interesting. I'm going to bring it up because I think this is a really cool thing that happened. So Retals and Space Station Gaming chose the club as their opponent, and their reason at the time of making that selection was that both O1 and Veloce were known to be having visa issues, and Space Station did not want to get a team, pick a team that would have visa issues and maybe not field their full roster and just end up being a free win. Now the reason for that is because you want to get practice in this first round. Even if you are going to lose round 1, it's Swiss. It's not that big of a deal. So the club are definitely going to be a scary team. They're the South America number 3 team coming in for this tournament. However, just like Bravado, the number 2 team from SSA, have recently outperformed Orlando Pirates, the number 1 team from SSA, so have the club number 3 from South America outperformed Team Secret, the number 2 from South America, I should say. So this is a tough team. I'm gonna make this one close. Space Station 3-2'd Pioneers in day 1 of London, then they 3-1 Secret. I think they do actually struggle to really get firing immediately. They also struggled out the gate versus Dignitas in LA before reverse sweeping, but I think they are going to have the edge in a close matchup. The club are definitely a team to be reckoned with here from South America. Lost, KV1 and Astromic. You want to keep an eye on them. Chavintech, thanks for the brand new prime. Welcome to the channel, man. So Carmine Corp 01 Esports, and everybody's probably thinking Johnny's just going to give all the media teams like all the wins, but not here. I'm going to give this one to Carmine Corp. The reason is 01 Esports actually looked a bit nervous at the start of Gamers 8 versus Dignitas. They looked really, really nervous, and I'm expecting that to happen in their debut LAN event. Their debut RLCS LAN event. I think they're going to be nervous here. Carmine Corp have done this before. Carmine Corp also came out really, really strong. Beat Furia 3-0 in London. So I think Carmine Corp are going to start strong. O1 Esports are going to be nervous. It could be a closer matchup if it was later on in the event, but I think now Carmine Corp, they're just too strong. I'm using the scorelines to kind of indicate how strong of a matchup I think it is. 3-2, of course, the closest. One game indicates that it's going to be, somewhat competitive. 0 means I really think there's no chance that that team wins, unfortunately for them. Mikey Easy, thanks for the brand new Prime as well. Welcome to the channel. Now, okay, Veloce Pioneers. Pioneers, they are the number 1 team from OCE. Yeah, they're the number 1 team from OCE the entire season. They've also been the best OCE team as of late, taking Renegades down multiple times. Veloce is the number 2 team from MENA. That's Senzo, SMW, and Impressive, with Twiz as the 4th player / substitute. Now, I think Veloce, at least recently in Middle East, they haven't looked as shaky as O1. I think they're going to be very, very dangerous. And I think that, Pioneers look respectable mechanically. I think Veloce, they've got Senzo on the team. We saw what Senzo could do at the Fall Major. They're not going to be as nervous as O1. I think Veloce is going to come out strong. And I think I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. I think Veloce sweep Pioneers. OCE has not had a great run against Middle East in the past. They got smashed in Rettel's mini tournament. They got smashed in Ground Zero, got smashed by SRG in the Fall Major. I think OCE struggles with MENA because MENA is just way more mechanical than OCE, and even the most mechanical team in OCE probably wouldn't even crack the top 5 most mechanical teams in Middle East. They're just way off the pace when it comes to mechanics. So I think Veloce, barring them like really having a bad start, are going to be too much for Pioneers. So I'm going to say 3-0. I'm confident. I'm not going to say 3-2. I think it's very fenso. 3-2. I'm not going to 3-2 everything. I'm only going to say 3-2 if I really believe it is going to be close. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Veloce are going to be too good. Pioneers picked this because they didn't want Semper Optic. Honestly, I think Semper might have been a better pick. I think Semper might have been a good pick here for Pioneers because they have not looked too good recently. Veloce have, at least regionally. Now they didn't start seriously scrimming until I think recently when they found out that they got their visas, but I don't know if it's going to matter. These players are just so talented. Yeah, Mina's scary, so I'm gonna back Veloce. O1 looked nervous. Evidence of them looking nervous. Haven't seen that from Veloce. They got Senzo. They got Senzo at the helm. He's gonna settle any nerves and all nerves. Okay, Secret versus Semper. Now, I've been quite vocal about how I don't expect Semper to do too well at this event. I also think Secret finally found their form. They swept BDS in London. I think they finally figured out how to perform well on LAN, and I'm going to back them to win a close series against Semper. I do think this is going to be one of the close ones in the first round, but I think Secret are going to win it. I think they've made a good pick here, picking Semper instead of Optic. I think Optic are a lot more dangerous than Semper are right now. So I'm going to back Secret to get the win over the EU team Semper in this round. Now, do I back Verdi to take a game? Unfortunately, no. I think so. I think that's just a quick 3-0 Optics. So yeah, I think the 3 teams are Pirates, Gladiators, Verdi are really going to struggle. I think Bravado have got a better chance against Renegades than any of the other SSA and APAC teams. But those are the teams I think are really going to struggle. And yeah, I'm just putting a bold prediction in there. I don't think Pioneers are bad. I think they're a good team. But I think Veloce are going to be extremely dangerous in Swiss. You definitely want to look out for them. Senzo, SMW, and Impressive. Okay, on to round 2, version 1 versus Secret. I expect more of the same. I think V1 are just going to continue rolling. This is on his next a separate day, by the way. This is day 1, round 1 matches. Round 2 is going to be on day 2. So obviously V1 have kind of been known as day 1 at the last 2 events, where they've just gone undefeated, beaten Moist twice on day 1 at the last 2 events, but then after day 1 they're not as good. But I still think they're going to be too good for Team Secret. I think V1 they just keep improving. I love the way they play. I think Torment looked phenomenal at the London Major. Common Beast Mode. Well, Beast Mode's maybe the best in NA. He's definitely at the absolute top of the pile in the mix. And yeah, Calm very difficult to play against. Yeah, I think 3-0. I'm backing V1 to be extremely, extremely strong. Now, Dignitas Space Station. Okay, that's a decision right here. So, my expectations for both of these teams, I think Space Station are going to be a kind of a slow starter, and then they're going to get better and better as the event goes on. I think Dignitas are probably going to, like, as soon as when they're winning, they look fantastic. It's only once they lose one game that they end up falling apart. But you know what? I think Dignitas are going to get the revenge. I think Dignitas are going to beat Space Station. Because yeah, Space Station have started pretty slow at the last 2 events. They got kind of, I think, fortunate in LA that Jory has played the worst series I've ever seen him play on LAN, and allowed the reverse sweep. Jory's was invisible. And Space Station, they can't keep getting away with the reverse sweeps. They can't. Reverse sweep Dignitas, reverse sweep Pioneers. They can't keep getting away with this. You know, somebody's going to put them away. I think Dignitas they're gonna bounce back for now. So like early rounds, not too much pressure. I don't think Dignitas are going to really put too much pressure on themselves at this point. And yeah, I think they're going to take down SSG. Totally dig bias. I don't know. I think Dignitas they're pretty good playstyle to face SSG. SSG is like very demo heavy. Dignitas are a bunch of ones mains. You can't demo ones mains. I think they're a good playstyle. If they put it together, I think they've got a good style to beat SSG, and I think they will, because I don't think it's going to be too much pressure here. Okay, Carmine Corp Optic. I had Carmine Corp 3-1-0-1. Optic did. I think that's going to be a win for Carmine, but a good warm up nonetheless. This is not going to be a good warm up for Optic. I don't think they're going to have any real stage experience playing against Verdi. It'll be probably an easy series. I'm going to back Carmine Corp to comfortably win against Optic Gaming. I think Optic Gaming are solid, but I think Carmine Corp are one of the massive favorites to make it out of Swiss and look strong while doing it. Blue wall, green wall. Yeah, blue wall all the way. Veloce and Renegades. Yeah, more. Okay, so that's Veloce over Pioneers and Renegades. I don't think OCE takes a game off Veloce. I think Veloce is insane. RP Jensen, thanks to the 12-month Prime. Miguel SE7, thanks to the 21-month Prime. And El Gruz, thanks to the brand new Prime. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we've got all of the SSA and APAC teams avoiding each other here. I did say that Semper were one of the teams that I think SSA and APAC would have a chance against, so I'm gonna stick to that. I'll give Gaming Gladiators a game against Semper. Semper's quite defensive. I think they could maybe lose a game, but I think, let's see, the club, 01, Pioneers. Okay, I mean, they're obviously all winning, but I don't think there's even any games here. I don't think Pioneers, 01, or the club are gonna give games to the other regions. So yeah, we've got all of SSA, and we have let's go cross region round 3, SSA versus APAC. What everybody's waited to see. This will be day 3 of the event, by the way. Round 3, day 1 is round 1, day 2 is round 2, day 3 is round 3, and then round 4 and 5 is all on day 4, the final day of Swiss. That's what we wanted though. The SSA versus APAC. I would definitely have gone back and changed a score to rig that if it didn't happen. I'll just be completely honest with you guys, but we've got it. We've got what we wanted. Okay, version 1 Carmine Corp. You guys, I know you're already calling me EU biased so far today, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, nah, I'm just kidding. I think version 1 win. I think version 1 are just too strong. Version 1, they're not just day 1 team. I think they're going to beat Carmine Corp. I think they're going to beat anyone. I think version 1, I think they beat anyone in Swiss. I think they're the best team in Swiss, so I've got them beating anyone. I've got them beating anyone. Now Veloce Dignitas. Okay, now remember I told you guys I think Space Station Gaming are going to start a bit shaky and then they're going to get better, and Dignitas are going to start well and then get worse. I think this is the part where Dignitas are going to get worse. I think they're going to start to crumble. You know, now they're on the brink of making it into the main event. They're almost there, almost in the group stage, but they're against a very, very scary Veloce team, and I think Veloce is just going to handle them. I think Dignitas are going to now, like, the pressure's on, Dignitas crumble. As soon as it starts going wrong, it goes really wrong. So I'm sorry, Dignitas have just crumbled too many times recently. I can't back them to win a round 3 high match against anyone. I just can't, because too much pressure. Way too much pressure. It's that last round in Swiss that's always the most difficult to win. So I'm going to back Veloce to win. No EU teams going 3-0. So get your EU bias out here. You guys are ridiculous. I'm going to leave the middle matches for now. Let's go over here. I want to talk about SSA versus APAC. So most of the predictions I've been seeing, everybody's saying that SSA is going to finish last. So like both the SSA teams are going to finish last. And I'm going to go against that, not just to be cool and different, but because I really think that SSA is going to beat APAC. I think they're going to come in And I'm gonna show that I'm confident about that by putting 3 1s on the board, not even 3 2s. I think SSA is better than APAC. SSA bias. Listen, it's their first event, first RLCS event. But I think SSA they've got what it takes. What do you call it? Orlando Pirates are already out there scrimming, already out there practicing. I like that. Bravado Gaming, the best team in SSA right now. I think they're gonna take it. One of Bravado Gaming's players, I think, recently got top 100 in threes. As soon as they queued NA servers, they just immediately all get top 100. Yeah, Gaming Gladiators. Is Abs Crazy got his visa yet? Has Abs Crazy got his visa yet? Stop adding Realize RL. Stop it. Listen, Verdi have been struggling recently against Detonator regionally, and also lost to Gaming Gladiators, I think. If not, then they lost to Detonator twice in the last qualifier, so they're kind of like the 3rd best team in APAC right now. This is the best team in SSA. I back them to win this, and I think Orlando Pirates, in fact, they're already out there practicing, and Gladiators, I think, they don't have Abs Crazy, but even if they do, I think SSA is going to win. I'm just going to back them. Everybody's back in APAC. APAC's got a lot of support. I'm going to back SSA. You know, we got to share some. We got to split up the support here a little bit. But I do believe in the region. I think SSA. They just lack experience, and they're getting a lot of that right now in the run up to this event. Okay, into the middle here. Optic Pioneers. Did they play in London? I don't think they did. I think Optic played against Secret to make top 8. No, yeah, they played against they beat Endpoint and Secret. I'm still gonna back Optic here though. I think Optic are good enough to beat Pioneers. You know, I think I saw that 2-3. I feel like Optic are gonna win. I think they're just gonna be better. The turbo effect, you know, turbo effect or not, I think that Optic are just like a bit better. I'm also like expecting teams like Optic to, you know, maybe overperform a little bit because the event is in North America. Or rather, I expect every team that's not from North America to underperform a little bit because of like traveling, jet lag and all that, and being away from home for longer. So I think I back Optic in this matchup. I don't think they're good enough to like really step up and take on the big dogs in this Swiss. But I do think they could beat Pioneers. Okay, 01 Esports Renegades. We actually saw this matchup 2 times in Saudi Arabia. We saw them twice at Gamers 8, and 01 were kind of... I think they've won their last 4 3v3 games against Renegades in a row. Renegades took the first one, then 01 have won all the 4 3v3 since then. But I don't think it's going to be that one-sided. You know, putting down a 3-0 here, yeah, sure, go ahead, you can do that. But I think Renegades in these in Swiss bracket in the fall, they were really like stepping up a lot. So I don't think that they're going to be able to beat really confident. I expect Veloce to just be like super confident. 01 a little bit more shaky. I think Renegades, they're going to lose, but not going to. I think they're going to play 01 closer because 01's a bit more of a defensive team than Veloce, which I think it will suit them. But yeah, I still think 01's going to win that. CJ's going to be having a word with me, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure after playing against 01, he rates them as well. Not sure how much. Okay, Semper. I don't really rate them right now. I'm going to give Space Station a sweep. We've got Semper beating Gladiators, losing the Secret and SSG. I don't think they're going to do very well. Then we've got Secret, the club. This is a matchup we've seen in the last 2 regionals for South America. The club won the 2 most recent matches these 2 teams have played. So I think the club are going to have the edge there, but I do think it'll be close. Secret have got a bit more LAN experience. Club only have a Stromic, but they've got with the 1v1 God KV1. And I think Lost is actually their best player. He's sick, so keep an eye out for them. I think you got to give the edge to club there, because even though they're number 3 South America in the overall season standings, right now they're number 2 ahead of Secret. All right, Carmine Corp Space Station. This is gonna be. I mean, these are gonna be great matches. The Space Station they're on a really cool journey right now. They faced the club, Dignitas, Semper, Carmine Corp. You know, I could see arguments for either team here. I really could. I'm gonna lean Carmine Corp, I think, because I've got them playing V1 pretty close, and I think V1 are one of the hottest teams early in tournaments. Carmine Corp also started off very strong. I think Space Station once they get in front of the crowd, get that buff. This is not, well, once they get in front of the big crowd. This is not the big crowd. I think Space Station in front of the smaller crowd will not be as good. I mean, I'm basing this on what I've seen in LA and London. Space Station in the studio games, when there's not a massive crowd around them, they don't play as well, but they really like maintain their level brilliantly when they're in front of the big crowd, whereas other teams start to get a lot more nervous. So I think Space Station later in the tournament, like I keep saying, I think later in the tournament, that's when they're going to really shine. But now I think Carmine Corp, version 1, Veloce, they're my teams that I've really got looking very strong in Swiss. SSG crushed groups. No, they didn't. They didn't crush groups. They didn't crush groups in LA. They lost 2 games to Dignitas, and then they had to reverse sweep them when Joria's forgot to bring his controller. And then Dignitas got eliminated before crowd. Pioneers got eliminated before crowd. So basically, they didn't, they played against 2 teams in LA in their group who didn't make crowd, who didn't make top 8, and they didn't beat them that handily. They like barely beat Dignitas, and then Pioneers wasn't even super convincing either. It was a 3-1, but I don't know, it wasn't like they steamrolled them. They didn't make it easy. So the fact that they were not making it look easy against teams that didn't even make it top 8, not that impressive. It's only once they made top 8 that, okay, now they beat V1. That's sick. And they played G2 pretty close, played Mice actually they didn't play G2 pretty close, played Mice pretty close. Even the start of this last event in London, they had to reverse sweep Pioneers. And they 3-1'd, I think, Secret. Again, like, these are... I don't think Space Station have looked strong at the start of either of the last LANs. Carmine Corp at the start of the last LAN looked very strong, so I have to back Carmine Corp. Space Station played Falcons really close. Oh, now remind me, was that a studio game or was that in front of the crowd? Where was that? When did that happen? Are you guys listening to what I'm saying? I'm saying Space Station in front of a crowd, big crowd, yes. I like Space Station in front of a big crowd. When it's smaller earlier in the tournament, not so big of a fan. I think they play like pretty, shaky in front in both the LANs that we've had to look at so far. They've also been shaky online in like big formats like this. No, I can't back them as one of the favorites in Swiss. A lot of people are putting them 3-0 in Swiss. Could happen, but do we have a lot of evidence for that happening? No, we don't. So I'm not going to do it. Okay, Dignitas 0-1 Esports. Now, this is actually a rematch from Gamers 8 as well. Dignitas, I think, 3-0'd 0-1 the first time they played. Like I said, I think 0-1 starting the event nervous and kind of improving. Dignitas, I think they're going to start the event well. They'd fall off. So the last time that 0-1 played Dignitas, they beat them in all the 3v3s they played. I think it's going to happen again. I'm going to give it, the Dignitas capitulation is here. It's happening. They lose to Veloce. Now they completely spiral out of control against 0-1 Esports as well. They're falling to pieces. Every time that they start losing, they keep losing. That's been the Dignitas trend recently. They don't know how to bounce back from things going wrong. And if something goes wrong like this, I can't see them bouncing back. So yeah, Dignitas, no shot. No shot. There's no evidence to see them bouncing back. So they're not bouncing back. All right, the Club Optic. That's a really, really interesting series. Now, I had the club playing Space Station to a 3-2. And I also had them beating Secret. I've got Optic over Pioneers. I'm going to lean the club on this one. I'm going to lean towards the club. I think Team Secret... I'd put Optic over Team Secret, but not the club. I think the club, the number 2... I'm calling them the number 2 team from South America, even though overall they are the number 3 seed from SAM. I think recently they've established themselves as the number 2 team from SAM. I think they're going to have the edge there. I think Furia's way above Optic, the club just above them, Secret below. I'm going to back the club. South America get another team into the top 16. All right, Renegades. I gave a game to Bravado versus Renegades, so I'm going to do the same for Pirates. I think you gotta give them a game. I don't think it's going to be a complete sweep. I think Orlando Pirates could take a game. Pioneers Secret. I think I'm going to keep the OCE domination of South America going. I've not got OCE losing to SAM, have I? Ever. Renegades here. Pioneers losing to Mina. Renegades lose to Mina. Pioneers win. Pioneers lose to NA. Renegades lose to Mina again. Yeah. I've not got OCE losing to SAM. I'm going to keep the OCE over SAM streak going. OCE's never lost to SAM on LAN. I'm going to keep that going. And then Semper, Bravado. Yeah, I've said it before. I think Semper is one of the teams that the other regions can get a game off. So I'll give Bravado a game. But that will be the end of Sub-Saharan Africa, as well as APAC, and also Team Secret number 3 from Sam. Okay. Optic, Semper, the 2 lowest seeds from EU and NA coming into this event. I think Optic are way better than Semper though. I'm gonna give Semper a game, but I think Optic are definitely a lot better than Semper right now. They looked pretty solid. They weren't amazing in London. I think they definitely got bracket blessed a little bit. The other side of the bracket was a lot scarier, but they beat the teams that they had to beat. So I'm gonna give it to Optic. Semper I don't think are going to be too strong. So yeah, Semper have only got wins over Bravado and Gaming in my bracket. I didn't think Semper were going to make it this far. I thought I was going to eliminate them like here, but yeah, they got Bravado. A Secret were the team who got the tougher line matchup. So unlucky Secret. Now Dignitas Pioneers. What was it? Dignitas Pioneers score in LA? Wasn't it 3-1 in favor of Dignitas? And then Dignitas got reverse swept by EG, reverse swept by Space Station. Pioneers, I think since LA when they played, I think Pioneers have improved. I think Dignitas are I think Dignitas are a better team. I think they're world-class individuals, but I think their problems are mental. They have no idea how to bounce back when things start to go wrong, and I think things are going to go wrong for them at some point in Swiss, and they're not going to know how to bounce back. So I'm going to give it 3-0 in favor of Pioneers, who, you know, they have swept BDS recently, so it's not completely out of this world prediction. But yeah, as soon as Dignitas lose one game, they're going to lose all the games. I think they're going to take game 1 against Veloce, then they're going to lose 3, they're going to lose 3 to 0-1, then they're going to lose 3 to Pioneers. Dignitas 0-9 out of Swiss. They just haven't had any. They got no ice recently. No ice in LA. No ice online in the spring. I think they're going to go 0-9 out of the tournament after winning once here. All right, Space Station Renegades. You all know I'd love to put Renegades through, but that would be silly. Space Station, of course, are going to qualify here over Renegades. I think Space Station versus Pioneers are. Pioneers would probably be the most interesting matchup here for Space Station, but yeah, Space Station, let's be honest, you know, when their backs are against the wall, they know how to just get the job done, don't they? They just know how to get the job done. I think they're very careless early in these tournaments, and they start off very slow, but they do get the job done. They always find a way to make it into the top 6. So I think they're going to keep doing that. They're going to find a way through, and CJ is going to miss out on top 16 by just a 1 game. We'll make it close. We'll make it close for the Renegades boys. I think Space Station could definitely go to 5 with anyone. So let's just go with that. Adding bomb thanks for 27-month Prime, and a error user not found thanks to the brand new Prime. Everton RL thanks for 45 bits, and Coil Twitch bot thanks for 100 bits. Appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, everybody. All right, let's see our Swiss results. We have Veloce on top. Just a superior win-loss. Version 1, number 2. Carmine Corp. Yeah, version 1 Veloce undefeated. Carmine Corp. 0-1 and the club all going 3-1, and then Optic, Pioneers, SSG going 3-2. So I've eliminated both the APAC teams, both the SSA teams, 1 South America team, 1 OCE team, and 2 European teams out here. Who said I was EU biased? I've eliminated 2 EU teams. Dignitas reverse swept out of Swiss. Semper beating no one except Sub-Saharan Africa and APAC. I just don't think they're going to get out of Swiss. I think they're both going to lose. So, yeah, where's the EU bias accusations now? Where's the EU bias? All right. Man's not EU bias, he's Mina bias. Who have I got Mina beating? So Veloce beat KCP, very confident. Renegades, yep, very confident. And then Dignitas completely choke round 3. Yep, that makes sense. I'm perfectly happy with that. 0-1 lose to Carmine Corp, beat Verdi. Beat Renegades 3-2. Yep, totally fine. And then they also beat a choking. Like, what is unreasonable about these predictions? Come on. What is unreasonable about my Mina predictions? They're totally fine. You guys are out of your mind if you think this is bias. I've just got them beating Dignitas, who I think are going to get reverse swept out of Swiss. And apart from that, they beat OCE and Verdi. No, I don't think that's bias at all. I think that's fair. Totally fair. Plus, I got the club and Pioneers going through. Showing love to all the regions. Half of the teams we've got coming out of Swiss are not from North America or EU. That's what we want to see. That's what we absolutely want to see. Okay, main event. Let's see what kind of bracket we've got here. We've got Moist SSG. Let's go. Oh my days, look at how stacked this is. Moist SSG, Fury of Veloce, BDS the Club, Falcons 01. We've got an all Mina match here. G2 Pioneers Endpoint V1. I think that's going to be quite one-sided matchups. FaZe, Optic, NRG, Carmine Corp. Well, I think pretty clearly Moist SSG, Fury of Veloce is by far the most stacked quadrant. I'd say that the easiest quadrant is probably G2 Pioneers Endpoint V1, because I'm not expecting Endpoint to be too great, and Pioneers have done well to make top 16. I'd probably say the next weakest would have to be this one. I think Group B have got the weakest quadrants for sure. This is pretty weak. FaZe, Carmine Corp are about the level of V1, G2, maybe a bit lower. Yeah, I'd put G2, V1 ahead of FaZe, Carmine Corp. I'd put NRG over Endpoint, Optic over Pioneers. So yeah, this is, again, not the strongest. But yeah, these over here are ridiculous. If BDS bounce back, if BDS don't bounce back, then this is also a Mickey bracket. But this one's stacked. This is by far the most stacked. Group A is terrifying, but the top half of Group A especially. Group B is Mickey group. Yeah, Group B is going to be Mickey. If they decide to seed it for the group stage, like we see here, instead of seeding it for the bracket, then Group B will be a Mickey group. It's going to be, no matter how Swiss goes, Group A is going to be stronger, because the number 1 team from Swiss will face Furia. And then Moist is also in that section. That's insane. Moist, Furia, and the number 1 team from Swiss. What? And then you've also got BDS Falcons and the number 4 team and the number 5 team from Swiss. The 2 teams that make it through 3-1. Super stacked. Hope you're confident with these predictions. I'll be using these to make bets of £250 total. Listen, I'm confident in my predictions, but I would never advocate somebody using my predictions to put money on the line. That's a dangerous thing to do. Dangerous thing to do with Rocket League. Rocket League's pretty hard to predict. Okay. Main event. Now, starting off, we'll do Group B first, because Group B's super Mickey group, so just to get a couple of 4-0s on the board, because obviously Pioneers in version 1 are not going to put up a fight against G2, and Endpoint Pioneers not going to put up a fight at G2 V1. FaZe, yeah, I think that's going to be pretty comfortable as well. Give Optic a game. And a lot of people saying NRG regain. I don't think they're going to regain. I think it's going to be, yeah, those are all pretty easy. Yeah, I don't think Endpoint or NRG are going to beat pretty much anyone coming out of Swiss, because NRG have to play against the number 3 team from Swiss. Whoever's number 3 coming out of Swiss is probably going to be better than NRG, and Endpoint have to play the number 2 from Swiss. Probably doesn't matter who's number 2 coming out of Swiss. I think they're going to be Endpoint. So yeah, it's the fact that they've got to play against number 2 and number 3 that makes Endpoint and NRG's opening match pretty difficult. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think either of them are going to win. Okay, let's do lower quarter then. We've got Pioneers, Endpoint. Now, Endpoint have got an interesting opportunity at this event. They are currently on a, I think, 11-game loss streak on LAN, because they lost 2 games against Furia in the end of their best of 5 that they played in group stage. Then they went 0-3 against FaZe. Then in the London Major, they went 0-3 against... Who did they play again in the London Major? I've totally forgotten who they went 0-3 against. But in the lower bracket, they went 0-3 against Optic. I can't remember who they went 0-3 against on the upper bracket. V1? Was it V1? Yeah. So if they've lost 11 games in a row and then they lose 4 to version 1, they're on 15 straight losses. Do they go for the impossible 19? Do they lose 4-0 to Pioneers as well to set an almost unbreakable record? 19 straight losses. Maybe even more in the future if the roster stays together. No, I don't think they do. But I will say, I think Pioneers are going to stretch it to 18. I think they're going to win 3 games. Then Endpoint are going to regain, and then they're going to lose. So it's all pointless. Like they're not going to keep... The streak is going to stop at 18. They're going to lose 4 games here, 3 games here. Then eventually, they're after 18 straight losses on LAN, Endpoint will get it together just to then lose 4-2. I don't think Endpoint are doing it. Alright. Optic NRG. Who do you guys think wins Optic NRG? This is a really cool matchup because NRG, NRG fans were all saying that NRG deserved the 5th spot at London over Optic. Everybody's saying Optic got Mickey runs through all of the NA regionals. Now, I think Optic are going to prove everybody wrong here, and in a intensely fought 7-game series, Optic are going to beat NRG and prove to everybody that they did deserve the Spring Major spot, and the top 8 was not a one-time thing. They're going to advance. No energy regain, no endpoint regain. I don't believe in regains for teams who have shown no life against teams who have shown promise. Like, if these are completely washed teams that they're against, sure, but these are teams that have shown promise. I think Optic are going to be a lot more optimistic in terms of mindset at this event. And if NRG lose to Carmine Corp, they're going to be graveyard vibes. They're going to go lose to Optic as well. So I'm going to go Optic here. Now, I think let's continue with this group before we go to the other group. Let's finish off this group. V1 G2, what a match. What a match that is. I don't think we've seen V1 G2 at either LA or London. Well, I know we didn't see it in London because G2 played against APAC, and then they played Carmine Corp, followed by Liquid. And in winter, V1, after going through their group, lost to Space Station and FaZe. So they've never actually played on LAN. V1 G2. You know, I think the fact that G2 will only have played one series at this point and V1 will have played 4, I'm going to give it to V1. I'm going to say V1 beat G2 in a very close series. This is a close one, very hard to predict. But V1 at this point will have played 4 series, won them all. G2 have been sitting here waiting. They've only played 1 series. I think if G2 had more stage time, I think they're going to win, but they don't, so they're going to lose. I'm going to put them in the lower bracket. FaZe Carmine Corp. I feel like that's kind of a similar story. FaZe have been sitting around waiting the entire event. They've played once against Optic, and yeah, G2 and FaZe, pretty routine wins, I'd say. Not the best warm-up. I'm going to give it to Carmine Corp. I think Carmine Corp, you know, just like V1, they played so many series. They played 5 series, actually, before they play FaZe in this world that I've created here. FaZe have played 1. Yeah, I think, you know, later on in the event, if FaZe have more game time, I could see them winning this. I would definitely pick G2 FaZe if they had more, if it's like playoffs. But group stage, I'm going to give it to teams that are coming hot out of Swiss and looking really good. Okay, FaZe Pioneers. I think FaZe are going to be too good for Pioneers. FaZe are very good at beating teams that they're just mechanically better than. They lost to Falcons and Team Liquid in London, two teams who are definitely their equals or better mechanically. But when FaZe are better than a team mechanically, they just win. So, no nonsense. And will G2 bounce back? Yeah, I think they will. I think Optic's not on G2's level. I think G2 are going to destroy them. You know, there's teams... Tough matchups like Carmine Corp V1, I think, are very dangerous for G2 and FaZe. I don't think Pioneers Optic are going to be too dangerous. I mean, I've got Pioneers and Optic getting 4-1 and 4-0'd, and then I've got them getting 4-1 and 4-0'd again. So yeah, this group's going to be, I think, very clear cut. There's going to be 2 very good upper semi-finals, but I think every other matchup, at lower semis and round 1, will be pretty decisive. So I'm gonna put them through. FaZe. So I've got FaZe, G2, V1, 3 NA teams, 1 EU team coming out of this group. And now the group of death. Okay, let's think about the group of death. Moha HM, thanks to the tier 1, and also Santa Samurai, thanks to the brand new Prime. And Everton RL, thanks to the 4-month Prime from you also. Welcome to the channel. Alright. Now, like I said, so G2, V1, easy round 1s. But as soon as they run into tough competitions coming out of Swiss, they're going to struggle. Moist beat SSG in London with a kickoff goal. I think, honestly, if we get an SSG Moist and SSG have just ran the gauntlet of Swiss, I had SSG going the absolute distance in Swiss. Yeah, I think that might just be too much, because Moist haven't started too well. They keep making slip-ups early in every event. They always go lower bracket. Wouldn't be a Rocket League LAN without a Moist lower bracket. I'm going to put them lower bracket. I thought I was going to probably put them lower bracket here. But Space Station, I think, are probably good enough to lower bracket Moist there, especially when that's Moist's opening series. So I'm going to give it to SSG. Where's my EU bias comments at? Where are they at? Alright. Fury of Aloche. Like Veloce also coming hot out of Swiss. Do they beat Furia though? Because Furia I think are really, really good. Veloce and Swiss, they beat 2 OCE teams and Dignitas, who I think Dignitas are gonna completely choke again. I think Furia is gonna be a big step up in competition for Veloce. So I'm gonna put Furia through on this. Teams like V1. They actually played it, like V1 and KC played a tough Swiss match in my bracket. Actually, KC play a couple of legit teams that I've got. Actually, KC, they only play teams who I've got making it out of Swiss, in their Swiss, which is a really, really great warm-up. And yeah, version 1, they also play a really tough team. All the teams Veloce beat, I don't have them going out of Swiss, so I don't think that'll be like good enough prep for Furia. I think Furia might just be too good. Furia are insane right now. I've got Furia rated so high. Now, if this was later in the event, I'd probably make it more one-sided because I think Furia are better than Veloce. But I'll make it close because even if the practice in Swiss wasn't that great and it wasn't anywhere near Furia level, I do think that Veloce will be able to play them closer. Yeah, Furia are just going to be too good here. Furia is too good. Okay, BDS, the club. Do BDS regain. The club I've got losing to SSG, beating Orlando Pirates, beating their own home team, and then beating Optic. Kind of similar to Veloce. It's not as impressive of a warm-up as V1, Carmine Corp, and SSG, who are all playing against each other. I'm going to say BDS, at least for now, regain. But I'm going to make these close. I think BDS and Furia, later on in the tournament, I'm imagining BDS are going to play better. It's not hard for them to play better than they did in London, but I think they're going to play better than they did in London. I think they're going to play significantly better. But maybe not yet. Maybe not in this series. Maybe this series will be a bit of a nervy one. But I think BDS will be... They'll go back to the drawing board. They'll figure out a way to just win a matchup like this. This will kind of be like their secret match. They've just got to figure out a way to not start off their tournament going 0-3 to secret. I think they're good. I think they're good enough players. They're smart enough to figure out that puzzle. So I'll back BDS here. And if you're wondering why am I backing their regain but not Endpoint or NRG, well, it's because Endpoint have looked really lackluster at every LAN. NRG have also looked really lackluster in winter and recently in the regionals online. Whereas BDS, at least, in regionals, they were very good. So even though they didn't play well in LAN, I think they're still recently putting together really good gameplay. So I think the Landon will probably end up being their absolute dip by a mile, and they're going to come back up. All right, Falcons 0-1. That's a matchup we've seen a lot online. I think Falcons are much stronger than 0-1. That's honestly a dream draw for them coming out of Swiss, because they know exactly how 0-1 play. They always beat them. I don't think they've ever lost to 0-1. So I think that'll be a comfortable win for Falcons. All right, lower quarter final. I mean, it's moist in the lower bracket. I'm sorry, Veloce. I think Veloce is sick. I think they're gonna really show up for the World Championship and show that MENA is more than a one-team region. I think both the MENA teams are going to show up and impress everybody. But Moist in the lower bracket, that's probably a step too far. You're going to have to give that to Moist comfortably. Now, Club 01. Club 01. In Swiss, I've 01. Their results are kind of similar. They both beat a team that I've got losing early, losing to one of the stronger teams. Yeah, I'm still going to lean. I do back MENA here. I'm gonna back MENA. I'm not gonna like just put another 4-3 on the board. I feel like I've got enough 4-3s here, so I'm gonna make this one 4-2. I think London taught us anything is that we need to stop sending everything to Game 5 and Game 7 in predictions. I'm gonna give it to 0-1 Esports. I think they're very, very solid. I'm gonna put them, just a bit ahead of the club in my power rankings. Yeah. Actually, I was looking at Roll Day stream earlier. He did a tier list of all the teams on LAN, and he had 0-1 below the club, and I said that would be the one thing I would switch. I'd put 0-1 above the club, just barely. I think they're just marginally better. Let's continue now. Space Station, Furia. Like I said, guys, I think Space Station, they just age like a fine wine. Veloce, they didn't have the prep, they didn't have the right run through Swiss to prepare them for a Furia, but Space Station know what they're up against here. I think Space Station are going to keep rolling. They just beat Moist I think they can beat Furia as well. So I'm gonna have Space Station going through. I think Space Station are gonna have a big Worlds. A big world. NA bias. Croya, thanks for the 19-month Prime. Welcome back to the channel. BDS Falcons. I think Falcons will beat BDS. You know, BDS, if I've got them 4-3 over the club, I don't have them beating Falcons. Falcons are, like, I've got Falcons smashing 0-1, who beat the club, who played BDS close. That means I've got to put Falcons over BDS. You know, I think BDS are gonna, like, they're not gonna look as bad as they did in London, but I don't think they're gonna be insane. I think that's gotta have some lingering, like, doubt in their mind from how bad that tournament was. It's Moist in the lower bracket. Boom. BDS out of here. BDS, honestly, they would have had a shot against... I mean, the Group B, the Mickey group, they might have had a shot, but this is Group of Death, and BDS have not been good enough recently to make it out of the Group of Death. Furia 0-1. Yeah, I think Furia's gonna beat 0-1. I'm gonna make that one quite comfortable as well. Furia, you know, I had them close to Veloce because of you know, it's their first match, but by now I think Furia's rolling. They've shown they know how to regain. They got lower bracketed by KC and they bounced back to beat FaZe in London. I think they could bounce back and make it through. So, playoffs. We have SSG G2, Carmine Corp Moist, version 1 Furia, and Falcons FaZe. Oh baby. Oh baby. Well. G2 to get here. They've beaten Pioneers, lost to V1, smashed Optic. Now, this is all on the last day of the competition. The last day. So, literally anyone who makes it to top 8 can win. Everyone who makes top 8 is a massive contender. Why is Group B a Mickey group? Because Group A's got more good teams. That's why. I'm going... Oh, this is tough. I could have... Before I saw how this bracket plays out, I could have easily seen either of these teams making semis. But against each other... I think I'm going to back G2. I've shown the Space Station a lot of love in this event. The final day, I think I've got to back G2. They've done it once in America before. I think they could do it again. When these two teams played in LA, G2 were victorious, I think 4-1. I'll make it 4-2 this time for G2. Carmine Corp Moist. I think we all know how that one will go. It was 4-1. Yeah, so yeah, G2 Space Station LA 4-1. I'll make it 4-2. Moist Carmine in London was 4-1. We'll make it 4-2. I think it'll be closer, but I still, yeah, Moist G2. They're just too good. Too good for the same region matchups here. Version 1 Furia. We all know that Version 1, you know, they peak early in tournaments, so they smashed Swiss, used that momentum to make it through group stage, but nah, it's not enough for last day. V1 have never looked good in the last day. They always look pretty shoddy on the last day of tournaments, so I'm not going to have... I kind of knew that they were going to make quarterfinals. No matter who they're up against, they're getting eliminated. Literally anyone, maybe FaZe are the one team I could say V1 are close to in this bracket. They're losing to everyone else in quarterfinals. Because I think early in tournaments they're great, but then they fall off. And then Falcons FaZe, I think that's pretty routine for Falcons. I'm going to make it 4-2s across the board here, just to show respect for every team. I think, you know, 4-1 is just too one-sided. I said this is all one day, everybody's a contender, so I've got to do 4-2s at a bare minimum. But I think Falcons are just the better team there. They beat them in London, beat a whole lot of other teams in London. And yeah, FaZe, they beat Optic, lost to Carmine, beat Pioneers. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. So we've got the dream. We've got 4 region. This is perfect. We've got the 4 region semi-finals. This is what we're all hoping for. I imagine. Oh, to be honest, I think the local NA crowd probably just wants 4 NA teams in the semi-finals, which I wouldn't be against that either. As long as there's at least 1 NA team in the semis, I think it'll be good news, because then the crowd will have something to cheer for. Surely the crowd would go nuts for Furia Falcons. I mean, that is just a dream matchup. The rematch from Gamers 8. We'll get to that in a moment. First of all, we've got the LA Major rematch. Moist and G2 are currently 1-1 against each other. G2 look like they might have gotten a bit worse since that series, and Moist look like they've gotten a whole lot better. That's why I think Moist are going to win the trilogy. Moist have made the grand finals of the last 2 majors. You can't not put them in the grand finals of Worlds. They just have too much ice. and you know, they've beaten G2 on American soil before. I think they could do it again. Moist in the final. Now, Furia Falcons. Furia were in the fall known as a team who were choking, and then they showed in the winter split that that was not the case. They actually had a high peak as well. Since then, they've just shown consistency, and recently took down Falcons in a reverse sweep in Gamers 8. However, looking at the 3v3s in that series, I think Falcons do have the edge when it comes to 3v3 in this matchup. They took 2 games off each other in 3s. But yeah, in those 3, I think Falcons have the edge in this matchup in 3s. So I'm gonna lean Falcons. I think we got a rematch. We got a London rematch. Falcons Moist. These for me are the 2 favorites of the event. Furia being I think the next team that you just have to acknowledge. Or Furia G2 clear like next 2 in line, I think, because of the LA major win for G2 and Gamers 8 win for Furia. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a rematch. I think, you know, Moist had to lose a final before they could win one. I think the same's going to happen for Falcons. I think Falcons Esports, everybody. I mean, Team Falcons, not Falcons Esports. Team Falcons are going to win. I managed to nail the London Major Grand Final. If we've got this one right. If this event turns out like this, that'll be pretty cool. Although my quarterfinals are a bit dead. A lot of same region matchups here. That's a little bit unfortunate, but maybe it's better. Maybe it's better to just have like a full non-NA match so we can see the difference of volume. But yeah, genuinely, I think this could happen. I think this is very fair. I think Moist Falcons are the clear favorites. G2, Furia next in line. And then these are your next 4 best teams. FaZe, V1, Karmi, and SSG. So my rundown, we got Falcons winning. $600,000 US. That is unbelievable. Moist with 400k, not bad for second, and 200 for Furia and G2. So yeah, we got 1 Mina, EU, Sam, NA. Then we got another NA, 1 more EU, and then 2 more NA. So I got 4 NA in the top 8, 2 EU, 1 Sam, 1 Mina. Then we got 1 Mina, 1 OCE, NA, EU, coming 9th, 12th. Then eliminated first in groups is EU, NA, South America, Mina. We have Veloce here, and also BDS, kind of. Actually, honestly, everybody who got eliminated from Group A, like Veloce, look at that. Lower quarterfinal against Moist. What is that? That group is stacked. That's way too stacked. I mean, compare that to lower quarterfinal over here, Pioneers Endpoint. What is this? Why is Group A so much more stacked? So this is not an indication of how good Veloce are, actually. I think I'd power rank them much higher than this. I'd definitely power rank them in the top 10 teams of the event. I would guess. But yeah, that's just how the bracket worked out. Renegades and then both the other EU teams just not making out at Swiss. Secret with both the SSA teams and then APAC bringing up the rear. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's my predictions. Hope you like them. I'm trying to be as results oriented as possible. Rocket League's hard to predict, so you gotta base it on something.